Well, Blasphemy opens with a group of scientists who have gathered in the Arizona desert to turn on the world's most expensive and complex scientific machine. It's a particle accelerator, which is designed to probe the energies of the Big Bang. So they gather, they turn it on, they get it running, and then mysterious things start to happen. So my series character, Wyman Ford, is tapped by the government to go to this complex as an undercover operative to figure out what's going on, what they're hiding, and how it can be fixed. Isabella, the particle accelerator in Blasphemy, is modeled after the Large Hadron Collider in Switzerland. And there's a fear among physicists that it might be powerful enough to create miniature black holes. Now, the theory says that a miniature black hole will evaporate right away. But there is concern that if the theory is wrong and this particle accelerator starts creating black holes, that these black holes could sink to the center of the Earth undetected. They wouldn't realize they're actually creating them and start eating the Earth out from within. And in fact, once a black hole gets in the center of the Earth, even a very small one, there's no way to get it out and the Earth would be doomed. When I first had the idea for this novel many years ago, I lived in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and I had a very good friend who was a physicist up at Los Alamos who was directing a project involving a particle accelerator. So he took me up there, he got me clearance. He was capturing neutrinos. Much of the story takes place on the Navajo Indian Reservation. Of course, scientists believe the world was created in the Big Bang. Navajos have a different theory. And so all of that ended up in Blasphemy, the contrast between this extremely high-tech scientific instrument investigating the Big Bang, and nearby is a Navajo medicine man who has very different ideas about how the world was created. There is a clash in the novel, a violent clash. It is a thriller between the scientists and the government and a mob of fundamentalist Christians. Well, I think my novel really explores the themes of fanaticism and extremism. Not just fanaticism in religion, but also fanaticism and extremism in science. The scientist who is running the accelerator, who's in charge of it, who's actually dreamed it up, is sort of based on Robert Oppenheimer, who was head of the Manhattan Project. Maybe he's a cross between Oppenheimer and Richard Feynman. He was a bongo-playing physicist who was an extraordinary human being. So my physicist, his name is Hazelius, is sort of a cross between the two of them. And I didn't have any trouble finding religious evangelists to model. I couldn't dream up anything more outrageous than what Jerry Falwell actually said. I found rich ground with the lobbying scene in Washington. I have a character in my novel who is modeled after Jack Abramoff, who, what a marvelous character he is for a novel. I mean, he's just almost beyond belief. And so my character, he's a Washington lobbyist. He's sort of playing both sides. He's lobbying for the Indians. He represents the Indian tribe, but when they tell him they're letting him go, he thinks of a very clever way to keep them on board. Above all, Blasphemy is a thriller. I mean, I've talked a lot about science and religion and philosophy, but in fact, the most important thing is that it's a story. It's an absolutely gripping page-turner. I want to put human beings in extreme situations of violence, of heroism, of cowardice, of viciousness and cruelty. I mean, I do like to push people to their limits, both to the good and to the bad. And certainly in Blasphemy, the characters are pushed to the absolute limits.